Deadpool and Wolverine. They brought him back, baby. Kudos to Patrick Stewart. I don't think he ever said he was retiring from Professor X, so when they brought him back, it wasn't as annoying. Yeah. But it really felt like that was the end of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He's not getting any younger. But I guess they gave him Disney money, and he's back now. Should
we tell people? Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, yes. Spoilers. The movie has been out for a week. If you haven't seen it in theaters, or you could actually watch the whole movie in its entirety in 2-minute segments on Twitter right now. You watch it right now. No one's taking it down.
It's so bad. You bring up any of these social media apps and it's like 30 seconds of a spoiler just right in your face. These people suck.
Look, look, my whole thing is, if you're going to spoil something, make it very funny.
Yeah.
I tried that with Avengers Endgame, and a guy went off and started tagging my employer saying that I was like a Cuties fan and stuff. But I thought my joke was pretty funny. I've ever told you about this, the Avengers Endgame thing I did?
Maybe, but I rarely listen to what you say. So go ahead and say it again.
I got to see the movie early, and I was just like, it'd be really funny. And I'm like, hey guys, Avengers Endgame's going out. Not everyone's going to see it, so please don't say things like Iron Man dies. It's not fair to the people who haven't seen it. I thought it was really funny. And then this guy tagged everyone I work for, just making up horrifying things because I spoiled an Avengers movie for him.
Yeah, you spoiled it.
I'm like, I've never been so mad at someone for a spoiler that I'm like, I need to ruin their life.
Well, Tony, you should be that mad, okay? Because this is light for us. This is our church. This is our religion. What was I gonna say now? I had something so witty and so profound. But let's keep going. Let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, I was gonna say this is live, so there's no spoilers or any tags anywhere. So anybody could join this live at any time, right when I say Blade is in this. And then they're like,
okay.
Oh, no, I didn't know. What? No, I didn't know there's gonna be spoilers. Yeah.
There's an option to do like a ticker, right?
What's that?
There's like a ticker at the bottom you can do, right?
You can do if you're in your stupid, it's on the right side. There's banners you can do.
Yeah, hold on.
Go to banners. I'm not in the actual. I don't see what you see right now.
Oh, banners. There we go.
And then you just create one and type in there. There's going to be spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, let me add that banner.
Put the Bruce banner in there.
There we go. Spoilers.
Nice.
Now everyone.
It's not what I thought you were going to do.
What are you talking about? I'm making sure spoilers are in there. You're right, though. Why isn't it a ticker? Is there a way to make it a ticker?
Yeah, there's a way to make it a scroll. There's an option.
Oh, there we go.
I can do like a class with you when done. Yeah. There you go. Blade
so if you're tuning in, spoilers, Blade is in the movie. Okay.
So now it's not ruined for you because you know.
Now you know. So we meet up with Deadpool years later. We find out that he traveled to. I'm still mad that the MCU is calling itself 616 because that's supposed to be the universe for the comics. It's really annoying that they didn't make their own number. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm really upset about that too.
I lose sleep over it, Adam.
You should, you know what you should do, Tony? The healthy thing would be to find everybody that worked on this decision and start making up a bunch of terrible things about them. That's the healthy adult thing to do.
Yeah, so he auditions to be in the Avengers, and I like that Jon Favreau's there.
Yeah.
Because this is the first, like, marriage between, like, the Fox Marvel stuff. They teased it a little bit. What's his face? Quicksilver was in WandaVision, but he was a different character. It was the same actor. So yeah, it's Jon Favreau who kind of started the MCU, and
he did,
and Ryan Reynolds, who was like pretty much bringing these two things together. And I like all the MCU stuff that's in Favreau's office. I thought that was fun.
That was nice. You had the shield and the helmet, and I did think, like, story structure wise, this came out of nowhere, and I was so confused about what was happening. I'm like, is this the same Deadpool we were just watching 5 seconds ago? Is this a different multiverse Deadpool? So I think narratively it was really messy in this first half of the film, but obviously it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because I was laughing my ass off the entire time.
Yeah. So he comes to the Earth. They turn him down. They turn him down as an Avenger. And he ends up getting picked up by the TVA from Loki.
Yep.
I did not.
Everybody knows Loki. Everybody's familiar with the material, so nobody was confused at all by this film.
I saw the first season of Loki. I didn't watch the second season. I don't know anything. So I don't know. I'm like, was it TVA that was like secretly Kang? And I know the first season ended on a cliffhanger, but I never figured out what that was. Is Kang even related to the TVA anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And the whole plot was very bizarre because the whole idea is this TVA lackey wants to become the all-knowing god of the TVA, the king himself. But he's like annoyed by how long time is passing for universes to be destroyed.
Yeah.
So but we also know that the TVA is not on like normal time. Time is abstract. So what does it even matter? He's not waiting. He can just jump ahead or go wherever he wants. So that whole thing was very weird to me, but go on. Continue.
Here's a question I have, Adam.
Okay, please.
So the TVA guy, well, by the way, Wade Wilson, he's now a car salesman. He's broken up with his girlfriend. She's dating someone else. I thought that was stupid. They didn't even like work it
that was terrible. That was the one thing. Why is he not with her? It made no sense.
And like, it's not even like that was like a joke, like making fun of how sequels do that. They didn't really have fun with it. It was just a dumb thing to do. Shatterstar lived. He saved Shatterstar.
Had to save Shatterstar.
And none of the other X-Force guys besides Peter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cable's not in this. Domino's nowhere to be found, and it could just be actors and scheduling, but they're not even referenced. So anyway, he's lost in life again because he feels like he failed. He gets picked up by the TVA, and they tell them that they want him to enter the MCU. Adam, I have a question.
Please, yeah.
But why does Paradox want Deadpool in the MCU?
No one knows. That's the paradox of it all. It makes no sense anyway. He doesn't need Deadpool. In fact, Deadpool only gets in his way. So why? But I know this is comic book based or something, but the whole Mad Max Furiosa world makes zero sense to me at all. I don't even know why these people are being kept alive or why they're hanging out.
Yeah, it's like they mentioned in Loki when they like zap you, they just send you to the very end of time. Like you're
but why? Why not just
that's just where they send you. I know in season 1 they didn't even know that that's what that did. They thought it was just killing people, and then they found out that it takes you to that area. And then
only if you use the zapper, though.
I guess so. Yeah.
Where do other people go?
That monster Eliath eats time, basically.
All right.
But yeah, so I was waiting because I'm like, okay, there's got to be a reason the bad guy wants Deadpool in the MCU. And I'm sure it'll get revealed in part of his master plan. And it never does. They never come up with a reason why he wanted Deadpool in the MCU. But it turns out Deadpool, I guess, takes place in the Logan timeline, which wasn't actually connected to any of the other X-Men timelines. Who cares?
Yeah, that was also really confusing because that would mean that the timeline that Wade's trying to save currently in another 6 years is going to go to shit anyways, and all the mutants are going to die because Professor X has a really bad headache, right? Isn't that what happened?
Well, that and then there was that company that was the bad guys were tampering with the food that was
and they were killing off. I mean, it was like a post-apocalyptic world in Logan.
Not so much a post-apocalyptic world.
It was pretty dour.
It was just a world without mutants, basically.
Pretty sad. Yeah.
It
was it was Children of Men-esque is how I would describe it. You know, it's not great.
So yeah, he tries to go save Wolverine. And okay, we got to talk about this.
Yeah, please.
They knew that they would be undoing Logan and people would get upset about that.
Yeah.
And people would say it's disrespectful. They knew that people would be like, oh, it's like you're dancing on their grave.
Yes.
And they did the best thing for comedic purposes they possibly could. They literally had him dig up his skeleton, dance all over his grave, completely decimate the corpse. And people are like actually getting offended. Like, this ruins Logan. I'm like, this is a joke movie. Like, you don't have to consider this canon. You can watch Logan in a nutshell, and it's fine. And it
I
exists
thought
by
it was,
itself.
I thought it was perfectly handled. I was laughing my ass off. I mean, he's got the husk of him next to him on the. He's using his bones to beat up TVA officers.
Dancing to bye, and I'm like,
puts on his claws, and he gets one stuck in a guy.
I know. It was like the perfect way to do it because, like, you're gonna piss people off, and like, well, let's not even try to be respectful. Let's just go nuts with it. Let's just really do the most disrespectful thing we can possibly.
It was great.
Character.
Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious. I do love people right now trying to compare Deadpool dancing to She-Hulk twerking, and they're like, well, "Why didn't you like this? Is it because you're sexist?" And I didn't watch She-Hulk, but
that's exactly what. Yeah,
I guarantee you, if I watched She-Hulk, I probably wouldn't have cared about her twerking. Just like I don't care about Deadpool dancing. I don't know why we're trying to make this.
I actually watched all of She-Hulk. I found it to be incredibly disposable, like Saturday morning cartoon. Fodder. It wasn't like. I don't know. It was a comedy, stupid, jokey show. That was the idea.
Yeah.
I just didn't find it very funny, but I didn't think it was insulting to the MCU and their precious universe. No, it was just kind of a misfire.
I didn't watch it, and I'm a big Hulk fan, and I always wanted to see a live action She-Hulk, but the state of the MCU, and then I heard like the early reception that the jokes were like really terrible. I'm like, I'm just not even gonna bother. I'll get to it one day.
Also, that actress Tatiana Maslany or something like that. Yeah. She's really good. I used to watch Orphan Black with her, where she played like five or Jesus.
Wow, God.
Oh my God.
I used to watch it. Don't say that I didn't watch it.
Electrocutes me. She played like 5 or 6 different characters in the show. Bouncing off of each other. Really, really good stuff the first couple seasons. So I like her. I didn't want to knock on her because she did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it eventually at some point if it ties into something. Or maybe I won't watch because I didn't watch Loki season 2. And I'm like, should I know what's going on the TVA? And I'm like, I'll figure it out. But no, I didn't care about either thing. I thought the bye thing was funny.
That was very funny.
Yeah, they really kind of owned it. So yeah, he finds out his what's called anchor being is dead. We're not even going to try to describe anchor beings. It makes no sense.
Oh, that was that was dumb.
Yeah,
it's just dumb.
So he tries to pull a Wolverine from a different timeline wearing the yellow and blue suit, which I thought was fun, finally.
Yeah.
But it turns out he sucks. He's the worst Wolverine. But don't worry, he tried other Wolverines. He tried a bunch of different... Okay, so I like that they were like, all right, we're bringing Hugh Jackman back. He's always criticized for not wearing the suit, and the suits that he did wear looked nothing like it. They're like, not only are we going to give him the yellow and blue suit, let's give him every iconic suit he's ever worn. So we have the Patch Logan. We have the X-Men Age of Apocalypse Logan. I love the brown and yellow suit. That was...
Yeah, when Hulk dropped in and, oh, man, you kind of wanted to see a little bit of that fight. I wanted to see just a little bit. You wanted to see the fight.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, obviously yellow and blue was in the cartoon. But in the comics, the little bit of comics that I had and the trading cards, it was like they were going all in on that yellow and brown. So, like, I always wanted the yellow and brown suit on screen. So that was cool.
That was cool. They probably had the fight all completely storyboarded out, and they were in the middle of animating it. And Kevin comes in. He's like, oh, we actually hate the Hulk over here. We're not doing anything with him. Okay. He's done. Yeah.
Well, the Hulk issue with his solo films is that
I know they don't have the rights. Yeah. They don't have rights.
But I do appreciate that they're like, not only are we going to give Wolverine his comic accurate suit, we're going to give a lot of these other people their comic accurate suits, and even Pyro shows up with the comic accurate suit.
Did you recognize that was Pyro?
Yeah,
right away.
They showed him in a trailer like a while ago. So
I know, I saw the trailer. I didn't know that was the same dude.
I know.
Until he was probably on screen 5 or 6 times. And I thought, oh my God, that's fucking Pyro. It took so long for me to realize that. And I just rewatched X2.
Yeah. So their whole story, it ends up being like a road trip sort of buddy movie. They get sent, the TVA sends them to the end of time, the void. They have to deal with Professor X's evil sister, twin sister, who has mind powers, has a bunch of powers. They run into a lot of other variants that were deemed not acceptable for the timeline. They have to figure out a way to get out of the void, back to the TVA, and save Deadpool's universe. Deadpool lies to Logan and says they might be able to fix your universe, but it's an educated wish. Wacky hijinks ensue. wacky hijinks ensue. Lots and lots of cameos, lots of inside meta jokes. Adam, where did you land on this bad boy?
I really loved it. I did not like the plot, but I thought the
Yeah.
movie was really funny. So overall, a great time at the movies. Like I said, I took my 15-year-old, my 12-year-old daughter loved it, son loved it. Even if 30% of the jokes and references went right over their heads, we still had a great time. Yeah, it's hard to even place this one right now because I've only seen it once. I think it's probably going to be the easiest one to rewatch because it just seems so loony nonstop this time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's way more action in this one than either of the previous two. The Logan Deadpool fights, there's multiple, both great. The 2 or 3 times they fight. You have the opening fight, which is phenomenal. What's the ending? Oh, and then the end fight with the Deadpools where they do the one cam going across the road.
Yeah,
so well done.
An old school like beat 'em up, side scrolling beat 'em up.
Yeah, like a Mario Brothers style where they're jumping on cars.
Or the X-Men beat 'em up arcade. But yeah, sure, bring up Super Mario Brothers.
Because
when I think of side scrolling beat 'em ups, I don't think of Double Dragon or Streets of Rage. I think of Super Mario.
I know all your things. I know all your games. Okay, I brought up Mario because they just had the Pixar movie and they did the exact same shot in that where Mario and Luigi ran left to right.
Pixar. That was Illumination.
I'm sorry, Illumination. I'm sorry, Illumination. Yes, of course, the Minions. Yeah.
God.
No, I really liked it. They purposely like teased us by giving us Lady Deadpool, then not showing who was under the mask. They did the Hulk tease. They showed Baby Hulk or a Baby Deadpool, Baby Pool or whatever his name is, and he doesn't fight, which was really a bummer.
Yeah, I like.
I think that's almost a joke by itself because they had Baby Pool in there for like 3 seconds, and then they're selling merchandise about Baby Pool. Like he's gonna be this big thing in the movie.
I think even Disney and Fox are like, look, we're letting you get away with a lot. We can't let you kill a baby, even if it's a baby who can regenerate. Like we're not. Other studios will, not us.
They could have had the baby doing the Yoda, like flipping around and just beating the living shit out of him, and then they just take him and throw him against a wall.
Yeah.
Austin Powers 2 got away with it many years ago with Mini-Me. He beats the living crap out of
not a baby, but okay.
I know, but it still looks really sad when he's like smacking him against the pole and.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time watching it. Saw this in IMAX 3D. I do worry like a lot of the jokes are like inside baseball. Like there are people. I asked my friend Casey, so she watched the other movies. Not like all Marvel movies, but like the X-Men and the Deadpools leading up to it. And I'm like, did you get the Channing Tatum thing? She's like, after my boyfriend explained it to me. I'm like, that's going to go over a lot of people's heads.
So obscure. Based a fan cast that they were going to make.
It wasn't a fan cast. It was a legit cast. They were going to make that movie, and then it never got made. So, as someone who knows the backstory, it was funny for me because his whole character is he doesn't know his origin, he doesn't know any of his motivations. Because this movie literally never got made. But to anyone else, will this be funny? Will this be funny to anyone else?
No, I mean, again, my son knows Gambit from the animated show. Yeah. So he wasn't looking at it as humorous. He was looking at it as, oh, cool, Gambit's in this. Gambit's awesome from the cartoon. I do think Che Tate did a good job, but he wasn't quite superhero fit for the role, I didn't think. We're not getting any younger, so we're starting to kind of expand facially and everything. They had to get him on that Ozempic diet and get him to do better.
I feel like if his movie actually got made, it would have been very different. But I feel like they were like, you know what? This is going to be my one chance to play the character. Let's go full on comic accurate. Yeah. And let's just up the Cajun accent to 11. Let's just make
that was hilarious.
Ridiculous. Now, Adam.
Yeah.
We were talking about spoilers. You were aware that this big reveal in this movie was spoiled like a week before it came out. The X-23.
The X-23, I was actually pissed. That's the only thing that was ruined for me because the stupid studio put out a trailer and I foolishly watched it.
So I saw that and I'm like, oh, why would you idiots do that? That was like the one thing that didn't get spoiled because a lot of the other stuff like Sabretooth got spoiled. Pyro got spoiled.
He was they were in the trailers too.
Yeah. Well, not even the trailers, just the set photos from like a year and a half ago. Because remember, they stopped because the strike and they had to wait. Strikes. They had to wait till both strikes ended.
Yeah.
So I saw the X-23 preview and I'm like, damn it. So it got to the car fight, the Honda Acura or whatever car fight, which was a lot of fun. And I see that they're about to get rescued by someone. I'm like, all right, I know this is X-23. It's already been spoiled. I have to pee really, really bad. So I get up and pee, and I come back in and I look up and I'm like, wait, what? And I see Channing Tatum, Jennifer Gardner, and
Oh my
Wesley
God.
Snipes.
Are you serious? You
And I'm
walked
like,
away before the reveals?
I thought it was just going to be X-23. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait, what?
Why would you think that?
I'm like, wait, what's going on? What did I miss? I'm like, I peed for 5 seconds.
The
like,
other
and then
thing,
X-23 is
oh my
not even in the
God.
scene until the end of the scene. I'm like, was that a fake out? What's going on?
Well, and also in the trailer they showed, I mean, it was edited, but they made it look like she was out by the bonfire with Logan, not in the
Yeah.
cave. So even from that standpoint, you should have still been hanging around, Tony.
I'm sorry.
Shame on you, Tony.
I really needed to pee and I could not hold it anymore.
It's funny you say that. I went to the bathroom shortly after I think she came out, and they did like the bonfire, like one-on-one conversation. I'm like, I have time to go quick.
Yeah, that would have been a good time to go pee.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't worry, Adam. Since this movie is up on Twitter in its entirety in 2-minute segments, I did go back and watch that scene.
And then you got to be like, oh, yeah, Blade's in this, yay!
I didn't know Blade was throwing out the R word. I missed that. I do appreciate that they were like, you know what? A lot of our movies, we're trying to appeal to certain demographics, and it's not working. Yeah. Let's do one for the white guy, the white edgy boys. Let's give it.
That's right.
And I do like Deadpool making fun of it. Like he calls the one girl ableist because she's in the wheelchair, but she's not. She's not actually disabled. He's like, oh, the Gen Z's not gonna like that. And I do when Blade uses the R word. He's just like, well, the woke mob can cancel me here. Again, these are really funny right now.
Yeah.
But I feel like 5-10 years now, will these jokes still land? Like, have you watched any of the scary movies recently? Those comedies?
Well, I only liked the first one to begin with. I didn't think they were very good after that. So.
But even that one, like, there's a couple of them that were referencing like popular commercials. I'm like, if you show this to someone now, they wouldn't laugh at any of these.
Yeah, shows. They're like doing the caveman. It's so easy a caveman could do it. Anybody remember that?
The twins. I think that was in the third one, that beer commercial. We're like, we like this and the twins.
Just do it.
Yeah. What's up? The very first one. It's like, okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of jokes like that in this where I'm like, I don't think any of this is gonna land like 5-10 years from now. It's funny in the moment. It's funny right now. I do appreciate.
Well, that's why I'm like on the fence of where to put this one, because I think a lot of it is really just kind of jokes that I don't think are going to hit again after the first initial like, oh, I remember that, and that's a fun reference, but there's no like layer to that humor at all. It's just kind of a one and done sort of situation. Also, do you think were they sponsored by Honda Odyssey? Was that just a hilarious, obnoxious tie-in that they embraced fully?
I don't know, but what they were sponsored by were, I think, Heineken, because I've seen that fucking Deadpool Wolverine Heineken ad a million times whenever I'm scrolling through any social media thing. Where Wolverine's like, where'd my claws go? And Deadpool's like, I made adamantium cans. I'm like, oh god, I can't watch this commercial.
Did they do any across promo to his Mint Mobile or his Aviator?
I didn't notice any.
I don't think they did either, but there might have been an Aviator bottle in the background somewhere. Who knows?
You know what I did enjoy him making fun of, where he made fun of The Rock with the balance of power is about to change.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that was good.
So many good little jokes in there.
And again,
he made fun of Wolverine's recent divorce, Hugh Jackman's divorce. Great, and Jennifer Gardner. That joke was probably the best.
The Daredevil. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's okay. Oh, never mind. Here's one thing I didn't appreciate, Adam. They talk about which Punisher left the rocket launcher, and he's like, oh, there's been a bunch of Punishers. And then Blade goes, only ever been one Blade. Only ever will be one Blade. And now I'm not sad for Mahershala Ali, whose movie still hasn't been made. I am livid over the disrespect of him ignoring Sticky Fingers from the live action Blade show, which I have been covering on my Patreon. Why did Blade not reference Sticky Fingers? It made me very, very upset.
I think there was also, and I could very well be wrong, I've been wrong several times every day of my life. that there were a couple of direct-to-DVD Blade movies as
No,
well
no, no,
that
no, no,
didn't
no,
list
no,
it.
no, 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 no. Okay. Well,
Here we go. Here we go.
an actual explanation is that the one from the show is technically the same blade, so you could say there's only one blade. No, see what they do, and they're still doing this to this day, Adam. They take
Amazing.
the 2-part pilot and they label it House of Cthulhu and they package it with the 3 films to trick you into thinking it's a 4th film, but actually it's just a pilot for a TV show.
Oh my god. They did remember when Fox did that with Family Guy, the Stewie Griffin movie, and then
Yes.
it was just like 3 or 4 episodes of the
Yes.
show that they ended up putting on the season anyways as like an extra
Yes.
cash grab. Fuck you. Nice,
There
love
was
it.
what else did they do that with? Shit, there's something else like that, where they like try to sell them as movies, but they're just episodes stringed together.
Well, I think the most disgusting display of capitalism I've ever bared witness to is when Fox did it with the Rogue cut of X-Men Days of Future Past. The Rogue,
Oh yeah,
remember
which I covered recently. Yeah,
and that movie's way better because you actually have Rogue in it, and that
yeah,
whole you took who was essentially kind of the main protagonist of the first movie, and to a lesser extent the second film, the fish out of water character,
yeah.
and you put her all over the posters and then rip her out of the movie so that you could resell the DVD down the road as an extra. That's so disgusting. And she was all over the posters because
Yeah.
at that time, Anna Paquin was super popular because of True Blood. It was really,
Yeah.
really picking up. So Fox is like, how can we double dip on this movie? We'll cut out 15 minutes of it and just repackage it as the Rogue cut.
Yeah, that was kind of fucked.
It was awful.
I did like so as someone who grew up in the awkward 2000s, the awkward years of superhero movies before the MCU, it was fun seeing them revisit like Elektra and Blade, like, and I like their whole thing. Like, we never actually got endings, although they're all killed off screen, so they'll probably come back in Secret Wars. Whatever.
I feel like if Tatum could have taken like 5 pounds of his weight and transferred it to Wesley Snipes, we would have had a nice equilibrium, because Snipes looked a little thin in this, I thought.
Yeah.
He was a little frailer looking. Maybe it's because they didn't give him the cool jacket.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't have his jacket on.
He didn't always wear the jacket, and they are in a desert.
I know they did. I know he didn't always wear the jacket, but if you're gonna bring him back for nostalgia's sake, which is what they did, throw him in the jacket.
I will say
give him the duster.
There's one thing that upset me, because like in Deadpool 2, we got to see Juggernaut, size accurate Juggernaut. I'm like, oh, but he's not red. He's wearing the yellow prison uniform. He's got a gray helmet. I hope he's red in the next movie. And instead, we got to return to Leather Daddy Juggernaut, played by a different actor. And I'm like,
I was gonna say that's not the same guy.
No,
yeah,
not the same guy at all. He said he didn't want to do it. I think they interviewed him. He's like, I don't want to do it. Yeah, the only ones that returned are Pyro and Tyler Mane as Sabretooth. But like,
who were the randos? Do you know who the randos were? There's like a woman that was dressed in all leather, and there was another guy
I think some of them were just whatever. But like Toad, Deathstrike, the one girl from X-Men 3 were in there, but they were all new actors. The Russian from The Punisher is in there, but it's a different Russian with the yellow and red, the white and red shirt.
Oh, they had what's Ezekiel or whatever, the night.
Oh, Azazel. Yeah, he showed up again. There is one joke that I expected them to do, and that was the Johnny Storm, Chris Evans joke.
That was brilliant.
And brilliant. The problem is there were interviews after Deadpool 2 came out that they were going to do that for Deadpool 2 during the audition scene. Like, and they talked about, you're
too in, Tony. You're too.
I know.
You're too online. You're too in the weeds.
I had to research stuff at the time.
No, you can't research anything. You have to be like me and get names wrong, get locations wrong, and then you just pretend like you know things, and then people in the comments like, what is he talking about?
But originally in that one, it was going to be during the X-Force audition. He was going to show up, and Deadpool was going to get like real excited, like, "Oh my god, we got Captain!" But then he was going to take his suit off and show the 4 logo, and they were like, "No, we don't want you." Yeah. Instead, they did it in here. They did it in a different way, like that. They just
and he wasn't only
killed him,
and he wasn't only Johnny Storm, but he was also like some Bronx version, like a really heavy,
way more New York than he was in those other two films.
I kept saying he reminded me of Dennis Leary from like the Ref or Demolition Man, especially at the end when he went on that long monologue. It's like, I want to be put in jello, running around naked. It's straight up. It was straight up Dennis Leary. I feel like he watched a movie by him and said, "This is what I'm going to do for the role."
Yeah, the bad guy was it Cassandra Xavier.
Cassandra Nova.
Cassandra Nova, sorry. I do like that she was more interesting than the previous bad guys, like the bad guy from the Essex School and Ajax. She's more interesting than them. Still not great.
Cable's better. Cable's cooler.
Yeah, but I don't really consider Cable like a bad guy. He kind of stops
fair.
being the bad guy for a while.
She was just an overpowered kind of nothing character. There just wasn't much there to work with. But unlike most, I guess I shouldn't say unlike most, Marvel is notoriously bad with their villains. But unlike the DC side, where they usually have a pretty cool villain that elevates things, I feel like the villains in these movies are always just kind of afterthoughts that are just they're just items for the character, the straight man, for the comedic character to bounce lines off of. Also, she was really into hand stuff. Really
that apparently is from the comics. I looked up some images. She does do that. Like, I don't know why. She had like a bunch of like not specific powers. They were all kind of general.
Everything. She could do everything.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fun action. You can see X-23 in there. You can see they made Hugh Jackman do all the things you wanted him to do over the years. I appreciate once he put the mask on, he kept it on for like the whole finale. Like, okay, I kind of like that. It made it worth it. I mean,
the mask was it was weird. The mask at some points it looked really good, and at other points it looked really cheap and kind of flimsy and like something you could make it home yourself. There was a mask at the end of The Wolverine, which I don't really care for that film. But at the way end, do you remember they teased the golden brown mask?
That's the deleted ending. That's the deleted ending.
That's the fan-made film. It's the same.
No. That is a real.
I'm joking. I'm just bringing it back.
It just didn't make it into the movie.
Now that I think, when you said fan-made, maybe what it was is it was just they took two things and they combined it together on a YouTube video, and I seriously thought that was like they just showed the Wolverine grave, and then they showed Logan. I don't know. I'm so gone. But anyway, the scene in Wolverine or Deadpool and Wolverine where he's looking at him and they're doing this Armageddon, Wrath of Khan kind of sacrificial goodbye. Logan looked weird in that the camera angles they were using just did not work for me. Remember,
they are also adding a CG element so he can move his eyes, so that might be a whole thing. I think he did wear an actual mask, but because of the CGI eye thing, it's not like fucking last Thor movie where you could tell they were like, we don't know what we want this helmet to look like, so we're just gonna CGI it in later, and it just looks awful.
So bad. It's and what does he say? Like Rachel or whatever
yeah. But it's like floating on his head. Like this looked like good. Like they knew what it wanted to look like. They had an actual one on set to match it to.
Half of Thor Love and Thunder felt like floating heads. He was constantly weird looking in the there was floating heads. Remember the kid that floated?
A literal foot. That was a movie that, like, have you seen any of the deleted scenes? Like, it was a completely different movie. Zeus was like a good guy at one point. They just shot so much and then reshot it. They didn't care.
Well, I think Taika, he essentially said in several interviews he didn't give a shit about this movie. He was just having a fun time and getting his paycheck, which is pretty sad to hear, but also whatever.
I mean, I get it, but don't waste my time.
Right. Like, give it to someone that wants it, then, jackass.
It was nice
I'll go rewatch Jojo Rabbit.
I like seeing that, like, Marvel has really been, I don't want to say struggling, but like they're not really landing the hits recently. And I like how this movie is addressing the mistakes they've made. Like Deadpool says, you're coming in at a bit of a low point. And I have no idea what Deadpool's talking about. What could Deadpool possibly be talking about, Adam? What could he possibly be talking about?
Oh, jeez.
So it was nice to see them being self-aware. It's weird that the time travel stuff from the end of 2 didn't really factor into this at all. Again, I thought the bad guy paradox, like something Deadpool did while time traveling is why he wanted him.
It
But he
seemed like
says
there
it
was a lot. Yeah, it seemed like there
yeah.
was a way easier way to explain this silliness away than the
Yeah.
whole the anchor human and having to jump between
Yeah.
dimensions and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It got a little
And again,
messy.
like I know like the first 2, I don't really care about the plot too much
No,
because
but
it's
you
just
have
there
to at
for the
least be
comedy.
able to kind of get where you need to go from
Yeah,
point A
they
to
weren't
point B.
as complicated as this.
No,
This had a very complicated plot for what's supposed to be a jokey superhero
and
parody.
and a lot of exposition. A lot of
Yeah.
exposition.
Which they make fun of, but then it's like, yeah, but you're also kind of doing it
But you're
legitimately.
also doing it, so you
Yeah.
can't have your cake and eat it too, sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, they can. They're making money.
I appreciate them going big, I guess. I hope Hugh Jackman's done. Like, come on, he's really I know they're joking till he's 90. He's fine in like the Deadpool movies, but can we get if we're gonna bring the X-Men back, can we get like a younger dude to do it? And do
I
you
don't think he's done. I think they're going to at least
no,
for this Secret Wars or whatever the hell's coming out, the next
yeah.
Avengers movie. I bet we're gonna see Hugh Jackman. We're gonna see
Mm.
those fucking Spider guys show up again. Andrew and Tobes are gonna be there. They're
By
gonna
the
bring
way,
them all in.
I'm fine with that. I'm
Yeah.
just saying
Okay.
if the MCU is getting their own X-Men team, you could still have Hugh Jackman and do all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with the MCU, it'd be nice if they had their own Wolverine played by like a younger guy. Did you by the way, I don't think it's 100% accurate. What did you think of Short Wolverine? Comic accurate Short Wolverine.
That was very funny. I laughed. I
I don't
laughed
think
out loud.
I think that guy was like 4 foot. I think Wolverine's supposed to be like 5'2". I think they
Yeah,
made him a little bit shorter than he was supposed
Wolverine
to be.
is 5'3", I believe, in the comics.
Yeah,
And
that guy was
yeah,
way
that guy
shorter.
looked way shorter than
Way
that. It was very funny. And they
Yeah.
Henry Cavill Wolverine looked very off to me.
Yeah.
He didn't look great. I mean, he always looks great, but I mean,
Yeah.
comparatively speaking, I don't think we go with him for the next Wolverine.
I mean, it was a bad wig and stuff. I mean, Hugh Jackman's
Yeah.
worn a bad wig. There's that scene in X-Men 2 that's a reshoot where his hair just completely changes and he has fake mutton chops on. 'Cause they had to
Tony,
shoot.
X-Men 2, X-Men
Yeah.
United is perfect. So I don't want to hear any negativity about that.
No, it's a
film.
good movie, but
No,
there's
no,
that
I'm
scene at the
joking.
yeah,
I'm
there's
joking.
that scene at the very
Did you-
beginning where it changes.
Again, I feel like I only talked to you, but someone told me, and maybe it was you, that the "Bye Bye Bye" song at the beginning of Deadpool and Wolverine is also a reference to a Wolverine song because he hates "Bye Bye Bye." It was in X-Men 2.
It wasn't me, but yeah, in X-Men 2 when he fires up Cyclops' car, bye bye
Yeah.
bye please.
And he's like, "Oh yeah." That's so kind of maybe intentional. I don't know, but fun either
I don't
way.
know. I don't
Funny
know.
either way.
Yeah, so overall, I enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm not gonna be
Mhm.
again, I'm not too hype on Marvel stuff these days. I wonder if it's gonna be like No Way Home, where I enjoy it in the moment, but when I think about it later, I'm just like, a lot of that didn't really line up, did it? A lot of that made sense.
I've been on record several times saying No Way Home is not that great.
I know.
I think the final act is wonderful when all the Spider-Men come out, but everything leading up to that, you want to talk about a bad storyline. The plot of that movie is legitimately boo-hoo, my kids didn't get into the college they wanted to, so now I'm gonna fuck over everybody else. Ridiculous.
The rules didn't really make sense. Like everyone who knows Peter Parker, it's like, okay, well, did he know? I don't think Electro knew. Not well, like he met both, but he didn't know that they were the same person. Yeah, it was real clumsy getting there. Look, that was a COVID movie. All right,
was that COVID?
Oh, that was a COVID movie.
Okay, all right. Well, these movies take a couple years to make.
Notice how he wasn't in a lot of
into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, notice how he wasn't in a lot of big crowds in that movie. Like,
yeah, that's very
New York
true.
was pretty empty, minus like 2 scenes.
Were you surprised with this not going more into the MCU? Were you surprised he didn't seem like we did have the Thor cameo very quickly? He's crying, which was a funny gag that they kept doing.
People are trying to like actually dissect that. I'm like, guys, that's recycled footage from the
that's not like a thing you should dissect. It was just a funny reoccurring
like
joke.
A funny thing. Like this
people are sad, Tony. We have to let them be sad and pathetic. But I was honestly surprised we didn't get more Marvel stuff in
like
here.
Putting him in older Marvel movies. Like we were here the whole time.
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
him just like showing up at some of these characters' places, and
Mm.
there's a lot of things they could have done with it. I'm
Yeah.
surprised there wasn't more of that.
Instead, they
I'm
made
okay
it
with
where
it. But
yeah. Instead, they made it where it's like, hey, this is going to be a celebration of the goofy Fox.
yes.
Although Blade is technically New Line Warner Brothers, which is why I think there was
Yeah.
no footage in that montage at the end of all the Blade stuff. But it was
Mhm.
fun seeing Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes together because Wesley Snipes famously hated Ryan
Hates
Reynolds.
him. And they make a joke in the movie
They make
about
a
it.
joke
Doesn't he
about
say like,
that.
"Listen, I know we don't really get, or you don't really like me," or something? Yeah, that was good.
um, yeah, overall, I think it works. It's fine.
Mhm.
I like it on like a superficial level where I'm like, I
Yeah.
like that I got to see Wolverine do the thing. And I like that that guy was there, and I like that Blade through the thing and Gambit through the cards. But overall, I'm probably not going to revisit it as much as the others. But I guess
Yeah,
that brings us,
yeah.
yeah, that
Let's do it.
brings us to it. Adam, what is the best? I should bring it up here. What is the best Deadpool movie?